Hey y'all. All right, so I just uploaded my first practice with me video. Go check that out. It's on scales. But my friend Scott just sent me this video, and I was practicing along to it, and I was like, my brain is broken by the creator economy. This is good content. Uh, Maybe there's a niche out there who wants to hear my hot takes on the new mindset for pre-seed slash seed startup funding. So we're gonna listen to this video. Unfortunately, I pre-watched this one, but we're gonna react to this video and we're gonna practice Regandi to it. So I'm working on Regandi Etude 5 and in Mujo. Shout out to my app Mujo. I'm just gonna hit a stopwatch and we're basically gonna use this video as our 9-minute timer. So all right, let's hang out and practice Regandi and watch this video.
Talk about how funding has changed in 2024 is because I've got a lot of founders that I'm meeting on a daily basis that come in and they have a mindset that it's still 2021. Those days are over. There's a new normal. We are not going back to 2021, and there's a good reason for it, which I'll explain to you in just a moment. Before we continue, I want to qualify myself here. I'm a 7-time funded founder with 2 exits. I had my heyday during Web 1.0, and then I sold my second company in 2017. It's been a while, but I've stayed on top of all the trends. I talk to investors every single day, and they're giving me new information. I also talk to a lot of founders who are telling me their stories, what they had to deal with, and things are completely changing. For example, in 2021, when I used to see checks being written and get into the bank in 4 weeks, now we're waiting 6 to 9 months. I talked to an investor just at the beginning of this week, and they grilled me, everything seemed positive, and everything's at a standstill because they can afford to wait and take their time. That's what the market's doing. What's happening is that there's a big movement into startups that are pedigree, meaning there's a flight to quality. We're talking about startups that are much further along, and they're the ones that are getting the funding right now. And if they're successful, that pattern is going to continue. Yes, the market will get frothier and frothier, and yes, there will be money sitting on the sidelines, and people will start to get a little anxious, there'll be FOMO on the investors' part, and they'll start allocating to a little bit riskier ventures, but there's going to be a new standard of all the deals, and as soon as Y Combinator, A16Z, Sequoia, all these other companies start showing the results of investing in companies that have been waiting a little longer, showing more traction, revenue, have working products, product market fit is already in place. Everybody's going to want to invest in that type of startup. And early stage founders are going to have to find investors in the long tail, in those little sneaky places, because again, the standards are being reset. So here's the mindset that I want you to put yourself in. Everything you learned about startup funding up until this time, you need to just put it out of your mind and say, the rules have changed. Because it's lagging. There are lagging indicators. You're reading news about startups that are getting funded. You go to TechCrunch, and you can see the funding rounds happen in 2021. But now you're seeing those companies file for bankruptcy. They are leaving the scene. They are exiting stage left because they were funded during really good times, and they didn't have the same environment to contend with. And if you're raising funds and it takes you a lot longer, you're going to be more disciplined with your capital, but that mindset has to change. Everything is going to take twice as long and cost twice as much in terms of time, the money to establish your MVPs.
This dude has repeated himself like 30 times.
Project up and going,
it's
or
hilarious.
get your venture to the point where it is fundable.
This entire video could be one sentence.
Twice as long, twice as much money. And there are two things that you want to be thinking and reminding yourself. This is what I teach to my founders all the time. Be relentlessly resourceful. Stole that from Y Combinator, by the way. Pessimistically persistent, meaning that it doesn't matter if an investor gives you all the good signals and say, we're going to send you the LOI, it's coming, don't worry about it, the check's in the mail. You want to be a pessimist and act like it's not going to happen until that check is deposited, clears, and is in your bank account, and you can start drawing against it. I know founders that were promised a large chunk of money, like $12 million. They were given the first half, $6 million, and told to do all this stuff with the capital, move to another location, and then start a big factory and start spending all that money because the next $6 million is coming. Guess what? That $6 million did not come. Now the founder is sitting there going, what did I do all that for? This is not a good situation to be in. Everything has changed. So be relentlessly resourceful and pessimistically persistent. Relentlessly resourceful, leave no stone unturned. Keep plugging away, keep grinding, make those phone calls. Find out if you can get conversations with investors and ask their advice and ask them to refer you to other investors. And pessimistically persistent, act like nothing is set in stone, nothing is a done deal until it is a done deal, and you keep being relentlessly resourceful by the time you get there. Don't be a negative person and be down on yourself the whole time, but you want to have a very measured and realistic view of what things are going to take. If you're sitting there and you need funding and you only have 3 months of runway, you're in survival mode. Be relentlessly resourceful and start grinding away and do what you need to just to survive and extend that runway. Whether you have to go drive an Uber or you do personal things, get out there and do it. You should be thinking strategically when you have 12 months of runway. But first, you got to get those checks in the bank. And you got to
Or
make sure
guitar
you have the
lessons.
runway.
Shout out to
the other
guitar
thing
lessons.
is if
Sign
you're
up for
looking
guitar
at the
lessons,
different funding rounds,
for
it was
math
the
lessons.
factory assembly line way back in
Maybe I'll start
2021
driving
and
an
the years
Uber
before.
too.
You
Who
went and
knows?
got pre-seed, you found it somewhere, you got seed. And the whole purpose of seed was to
My
spend it and
first
grow so they
finger's,
could
like,
sell
really,
you to
like,
the
kind
A
of
round.
lifting
And with your
too
A round,
much
you
right
find
there.
product market fit, and then you go B, C, D, and then you go public or you get acquired. That was the factory model, and pretty much all investment was about managing the portfolio. It was all about just getting it down the assembly line, and investors would tell you to light the capital on fire. 20 cents of every dollar that comes in needs to go to growth, Google AdWords, Facebook ads, and all the paid traffic that you can possibly get because you want those growth metrics, and then you're going to turn on revenue. That's the mindset that happened back then. It's no longer. Today, investors want to see that you legitimately built something and that it is making money and you are using your capital as the last funding round. If you are in a pre-seed spot, you're trying to raise money, you need to be thinking like a seed company. That's the inflection point. So if you're pre-seed, you want to get to the point where you can get a seed round. And you're not going to get funded until then. Gone are the days where people would just give you capital, institutional money anyway, just to figure things out and to build a prototype or an MVP. That's not going to happen anymore. If you're not generating revenue and revenue that reflects a seed round, you're not going to get pre-seed and keep going. If you are at seed round and you want to raise money like a seed company, you need to be at the A stage. You need to have metrics that reflect an A round. Before, what got you an A round is not going to be that anymore. We're going to keep going. It's a B round now. You see how everything is moving one stage later. If you're at seed, act like you want to get to an A level in terms of your metrics, then start raising once you hit that inflection point. That means revenue, your MVP is out there, you're starting to show signs of product market fit, and believe me, if you can do that, then you're going to have investors knocking down your door. Let the investors come to you. But until then, get yourself in the right mindset, relentlessly resourceful, pessimistically persistent, and keep working away, and just assume that you're not going to get funded. And if you are, it's going to take twice as long, twice as much money to get there. That's the mindset you want to be in. The days of easy money are over. And unfortunately, I see a lot of founders that have gotten in the mindset and it hasn't done them any favors. I'm not going to say that founders are lazy, but founders are a little entitled and start acting like funding should be
This
easy.
is a tricky
and then
spot
they
because
get
you've got to
incensed
like
when it
put the
doesn't
thumb on
happen.
the fifth
They get
string
mad at
and
me
like
as the
mute
advisor and say,
backward
investors
the
aren't
E
contacting me.
string.
I
with
heard
the
that
back
you
of
could
the
get me
thumb.
all these
So I'm
investors.
gonna write that
Maybe in
in.
2021, I could pick up the phone and get you a few meetings, but today I get the same questions. How much revenue are they making? What stage are they at?
Where
What are
does
their
it
growth
happen?
metrics? Are they on the path to profitability? What do you think about those things?
I think it
And I
happens
have to look
after
the
the
founders
second
in
B.
the eye and have that realistic conversation to figure out how we're
Yeah.
going to get them there. It doesn't mean you can't raise funds. You might be able to raise a pre-seed round with a very, very generous angel that comes through friends, family, and associates. I will help you with that. I'll help you with your pitch decks. I'll help you get everything lined up. But I'm going to be more focused on what are you
Can you help me
building,
with my
how are you getting
guitar,
that
with
traction,
my
and how can we
scales,
get you to the
bro?
point where investors are contacting
That's what
you.
I really
If
need.
you got buzz going on,
I don't need the
and
money.
you're in the
I
best
can
spot.
bootstrap
If
my
you can
stuff.
be, get here.
I need help with
That
my
you don't need
scales.
investment. Best time to raise investment is when you don't need it, and you say to the investor, yeah, you know what, pitch me, because I don't need the money right now. We're going to be fine. We're going to build a solid business with sustainable revenue, and if I need your money, it's going to be for growth. If I even want to grow, I could be happy just building this to a $5-10 million company. Get the investors pitching you by building a great company first. And if you do that, trust me, your valuation is going to be better. You're going to have more equity, so you can be richer in the long run versus these horror stories where a company raises $300 million and the founder works in there for 10, 15 years only to break even, make $150,000 a year, and just hope that everybody breaks even. These horror stories exist, and they're becoming more and more rampant as we're getting into this mass exodus. There was an extinction event in 2023 where 3,200 startups that we know of went away, wiping out approximately $246 billion of funding. And all these companies that were waiting for their A, B, C, D, E rounds, building companies like it was back in 2021, those are going to go away, and you're going to see this mass shutdowns. Mark my words, I'm recording this right now, and you're going to see this start to happen. It already is happening. I don't need a crystal ball to tell you. It's just common sense financial principles of what happens in startups. So finally, put yourself in the right mindset. Let me know what you think. Give me your comments. And we're going to have some serious, straightforward, in-your-face conversations because as an advisor, I want to help you get to that other side. Let's do it together. Thanks for hanging out with me on this video. Like, comment, subscribe. It's always helpful. I'll see you in the next video.
Yeah, like right there, my first finger just keeps lifting too much. Like, I wish I had a notation for that. Like, left hand, one, lift too much. Y'all, I keep going back and forth between iPad and sheet music. The benefit of the iPad is that I would be able to put it up right next to me, which would be really cool right now, so you can see me taking that note. Anyway, so let's get some thoughts. Yeah, this could have been an email. You know, this whole meeting could have been an email. Yeah, like obviously, right? Like, doesn't everybody know that money's dried up by now? Like ZERP is a thing. Doesn't ever like isn't this really old news? Like this video like just repeated itself for 9 minutes straight. So I couldn't help but think of I've heard the story that Scott Tennant practiced to infomercials, just like in the background, just kind of mindless. Yeah, this is a hot take. I feel bad. Ed Kang is just trying to do his thing, just like I am, just like everybody on YouTube. And yeah, all right. It was a good video. I mean, I enjoyed it. Like, the alliterations were really cute. I've watched a lot of Y Combinator videos, and in all of that time, I've never heard, what is it, pessimistically persistent and what's the other one? Relentlessly resilient? Yeah, that's really cutesy. It's extremely cutesy. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, shout out to my app Mujo. Go check out my app. I'm working on this thing. I'm bootstrapping it. I am apparently I'm being pessimistically persistent and relentlessly resourceful. If anybody wants guitar lessons, math lessons, especially pure math, man, I love pure math. Like, if anybody wants to study abstract algebra together, or even like another one is geometry. I really want to work through Euclid, or coding. I'm available as a tutor in all of those things, and I'm trying to fund my journey, self fund with those things. I thought about picking up Uber more for the marketing opportunity. Just like, captive audience, what do you think about this app idea? What do you think about my app Mujo? Are you a musician? Do you listen to music? Check out my app rotations. Blah, blah, blah. I think that'd be fun. Let me just give like a quick little demo, or at least just put Mujo on screen. What we were just doing was I should have kept the timer running on Regandi. Oh well, whatever. Oh well. Let's just put Mujo on screen. So my app is a metronome / practice journal. Most musicians don't practice journal because it's a pain in the ass. And I mean, there are good other apps. Go check out Andante as well. Let me know which one you prefer. Honestly, I think Andante is a fantastic app in other ways. But for me, what I was missing with all of those practice apps was the ability to practice and track lots of things, like lots and lots of things. So here's my log for today, 57 minutes so far. The last one we just did was Regandi 5. Normally I just do 10 minutes, but again, I was like, this is good content. I want to practice. I want to capture this moment. So we had a timer or a stopwatch running through the whole thing. Every time that you finish a timer, it saves all that time. So today was the 8th day, really just the 8th day that I've been working on this etude. And we've put in 2.5 hours so far. That's just on this one etude. For something else, like one of my pieces that I'm working on for the next year is this Valse 3 by Barrios, and it's a gorgeous piece. This one I've been working on for 36 days. Go check out my series on the chaconne if you want to hear some of the most beautiful music in your life played badly by a hobbyist. That one, 435 days, y'all. It's amazing. And 383 hours logged into that piece. And you can see 0 time in April, May, or June. Yeah, so go check it out. It's a practice journal as simple as a metronome. You can use those timers. Everything that you practice gets its own little dedicated practice space. You can turn on a bunch of really cool pro tools over here, like counters to count your repetitions if you want to get a passage 10 times in a row, etc., etc. All right, thanks. I hope you enjoyed this weird little thing. Just let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this, and have an awesome day. All right, bye, y'all.